Let's briefly talk about CLS compliant types. Now, what does it mean to have CLS compliant types? Certain types are required for compliance with the CLS, like I mentioned earlier. Now, to make a long story short, when you're programming, you don't have to use all the CLS compliant types. You can use whatever types you want to. But if you're interacting with other developers, or you're interacting with other systems, or you're writing third-party software, or you're writing something that other developers might use at some point, and you want to interact with other languages, for example, another language besides C# that could be .NET enabled as a language, then you want to stick with the compliant types. And that would mean that you just want to avoid the unsigned versions of the integer types. So unsigned short, unsigned int, and unsigned long are not CLS compliant. Additionally, sbyte is not CLS compliant, so it's a little bit of a flip-flop there. When you're looking at the unsigned integers from 16-bit to 64-bit, these are unsigned. They start at 0 and then go up to a value. The signed versions are CLS compliant. So we're dealing with the negative values in a range from negative to positive. So if we look at the short, unsigned short is not CLS compliant. Short is CLS compliant. Negative value to a positive value. It doesn't start at 0. Just keep that in mind. We'll talk about more on these issues later. sbyte is the only difference there, where sbyte is a signed type here, but it's not CLS compliant. So the alternative to working with sbyte is going to be a short, a signed 16-bit integer. That's the alternative of what you should use to stay within the CLS compliance if you need negative values. And that's the closest that you could use. You could use something higher, but that's going to take more memory, of course. So a short is 16-bit, a byte is 8-bit. So just keep that in mind. So very, very easy. If you want to stay CLS compliant, for the most part, there are other issues. Stay away from the unsigned, except for the byte, which is also unsigned, but that is CLS compliant. So quick and easy. We'll get more into CLS compliance and other issues as we move forward into working with classes and objects.